What's going on, everybody? Kaylee, you still good? We here?
Yeah. Hi.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we're gonna get started with Kaylee from Reps and Respawns in just a second. Before we get going, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to some of our partners, some of our sponsors, and then we're gonna get going. So, Kaylee, I'll be right back with you in just another second.
Alrighty.
All right, so our first sponsor is WizardWorks. If you've seen any of our sessions, it's usually how we start out. Everybody yells WizardWorks. But Dylan from WizardWorks Gaming is local Long Island guy. He does all types of D&D TTRPG accessories, dice boxes, TV inlaid gaming tables, flight risers for minis. He makes custom rugs, all kinds of awesome stuff. We have a light on with our logo and with his logo on our table. If you've seen any of our sessions, the big W on our table, it's for WizardWorks. Can use code Crit One and Done, get 10% off of any order. It's Dylan from WizardWorks Gaming, definitely worth checking out. Another one of our sponsors, which again, you've seen any of our sessions, Legendary Realms Terrain, another Long Island terrain company. All of their terrain is hand painted, done, finished, ready to go on your table. It's always up on our table. Rich is a great guy, super easy, awesome to work with. Also, Crit One and Done is 10% off of any order. Designs by Moonshine is our dice sponsor. She makes super detailed resin dice with all types of these little inlays and all kinds of different designs. Our favorite thing about her is that you can do custom to order different types of dice. We showed off one of them the other day that she had made for me specifically, and I told her that my favorite type of any type of RPG game, my first character I always make is a Sword and Shield character, whether it's for D&D or Skyrim or whatever the game is. Sword and Shield is my go-to, and she made me this awesome custom set of Sword and Shield dice that are definitely now my go-to. Crit One and Done 10, designed by Moonshine, to get 10% off. And our newest sponsor is Geek Haven. Tanya from Geek Haven is also super easy to work with, super flexible. Even if she doesn't have a design that particularly screams out to you, which would be difficult because she has so many different types of designs, she's willing to listen to different ideas. And Crit One and Done is 10% off of any order. I'm wearing one of the shirts that we got from her tonight. Um, but Geek Haven, different types of clothing, accessories. She's awesome. Definitely check her out. All different types of stuff. Geek Haven. And let's get back to. Okay, Kaylee, we're good? We're still
Hi.
here?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So this is episode 7 of Talking Crit, which is basically just, I mean, an interview. It kind of seems like the wrong word for it. It's just a conversation session that we started doing, at least for us from Crit One and Done. We are still relatively new D&D players. We only started playing D&D, I think, not even 2 years ago. Our page, our group is less than a year old. We just wanted to get to talk to more people, get new ideas, see what other people are doing. It's part of my favorite part of these sessions is that everybody's pages are different, have different twists, different ideas, they collaborate different ways. Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this with Kaylee, because she has a unique combination of things on her page. So, Kaylee, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi. I'm Kaylee from Reps and Respawns.
Oh, Jesus. Always fucking something. All right, let's see. Give us 1 second, guys. It would not be Talking Crit if we didn't have some type of technical difficulty. I just resent Kaylee the link. Hopefully, she can hop back in real quick.
Do I need to leave and get back on?
Nope, I think you're good.
Okay. Cool.
All right, you're back. If that's the only issue we have, we're making progress. Like I said, we're still kind of new to this. We're still getting used to using Streamlabs. But Kaylee,
No
go ahead. I'll
worries.
let you introduce yourself.
Hi. I'm Kaylee from Reps and Respawns. My page is just like a conglomeration between powerlifting, fantasy, RPG, video games. I'm hoping to get more D&D related content. Right now, I just post a lot of my own dice making. I do make my own resin D&D dice, but I would
Nice.
kill to join a campaign again soon.
I know we had talked about that a little bit because
Yes.
we've had virtual guests before. So like we're just starting the campaign that I'm running now. So once we're like another episode, I think, underway, and we'll start having those conversations of like we want to have in-person guests because we're lucky where we live. There are so many other creators too, but we like the idea of bringing in virtual guests just to get people outside of our own ecosystem. Um, but like Kaylee said, her page on Instagram is called Reps and Respawns. It's very cool. It's just the combination of powerlifting, dice making, video games, D&D. Like it's a lot of cool shit that we were all kind of interested in one way or another.
Thank
So
you.
I thought this would be a cool conversation to have. So the first thing that I wanted to ask you that I've seen you do a bunch on your page is maybe you can explain it, the athletic checks that you do.
Okay, yeah. That's just, let's say it's really similar to how you would see like a magic 8 ball. More or less, it's just for
Okay.
fun, like the vibes. Am I gonna do well on my list today? Am I not? What are the D&D gods gonna do to me today? I've
Okay,
set the
cool.
DC as 15. I don't ask me why. That's just kind of the number that I've gone with and I've stayed with. But
Nice.
it's basically just telling me how my lift's gonna go that day.
Okay. Because I was wondering if there was like, okay, if you roll like a 19, do you get like extra pre-workout that day? Like, if you roll a one or two, like, do you have to eat like a bunch of ice cream before you can lift or something like that would make like negatively affect it? I was curious because I've seen you do all these checks and you always seem to roll high, which is awesome, which is cool. But I wasn't sure if it was like you said, just something like fun, just to kind of get you in the mood to go work out, or like I want to know if there's real consequences to this role. Like, is
I'm
Kaylee?
starting to believe that there are real consequences to it because there have been some. I don't know if I like manifest it, but if I roll really low, I do something really shitty in the gym. Like one day, I think I rolled a 1 or a 2, and I failed a squat so badly that someone tried to save me from it, and I fell on his shoes, like
Jesus.
ass to shoes. It was so bad.
Oh God. That's cool though. Like that's I remember the first that was I think one of the first things I saw on your page was like athletics check before a workout. And I was like, okay, like I immediately was like, okay, well, what's happening with this? Like like you said, it's just like something cool to do that's fun. I was like, is she
Yeah,
eating a pint of ice cream before she's about to go like do deadlifts and squat? And I was like,
I
but
need to start
okay.
doing that.
But definitely, I thought that was cool.
Thank you.
And just the idea of mixing like powerlifting with your like TTRPG D&D like dice page. Had you when you first started setting up the page, was that something you thought about, or have you thought about doing different pages, or
In the very beginning, it was solely a powerlifting page for a couple of years. Actually, it didn't even start out as a powerlifting page. I've only been powerlifting for a couple of years. It started out as kind of a
okay,
bodybuilding page, and then it turned to me doing competitive powerlifting and some of my powerlifting comps that I've been in. And then I
okay,
decided, why don't I just do everything that I enjoy? Because there's more to me than just powerlifting. And I can't
yeah,
really decide what I want to post about because I want to post about everything and do everything and show everything. So
yeah.
why not?
No, that's cool. And for anybody that's listening or that's going to see this, do you want to give them just a quick the difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting?
Yes. So bodybuilding mainly focuses on hypertrophy and accessory work. So hypertrophy is like the growth of the muscles. And a lot of times when I was doing bodybuilding, I wasn't doing like super heavy
Right.
compound lifts. So I wasn't doing deadlifts. I wasn't doing heavy bench. I wasn't doing heavy squats. I was just mostly doing like bicep curls or dumbbell chest presses. And then I decided I like lifting heavy shit a lot, really heavy shit. So I transferred into powerlifting, and that's been my baby ever since.
Nice. That's awesome. I know if I'm actually not sure if Austin's watching right now, but so me and Austin played football together in college. And Austin, I was if we had to pick one or the other, like I would definitely would have been more on like just getting reps and just and Austin threw around a lot of weight when we were in college.
It's
Like he
fun.
he was an offensive lineman. Like as much as like I hate to give Austin credit for anything, like Austin used to toss around a lot of weight. Um, but like I said, I was just having all of that kind of just mushed together on one page. Like it's cool. Like it's fun to see. Like whenever your posts like pop up, it's like, okay, is this going to be a video game post? Is this going to be like, is she going to be benching? Is this going to be an athletics check? Is this going to be dice earrings? Like,
Yeah.
it's cool. Like I like that it's I'll say it again too. Like that's my favorite part about the whole community in general is that everybody has their own different spin on like how they incorporate whether it's D&D or any kind of TTRPGs like in
Mhm.
whatever else it is they're doing. Um, so to keep going with the powerlifting and bodybuilding, what is your favorite lift?
Deadlift all the way. Deadlift all the way.
All
Always
right.
has been. It's always been my stronger. I. It's been my stronger lift since the very beginning. I've been able
Okay.
to pull the most weight. Squat. I fuck squats. I hate it so much. I'm learning to tolerate bench, but deadlifts. I love them so much.
Ugh, that was one of the lifts that I was always the worst at because I'm so not flexible. For me to even get down and be in the like to not be throwing my back out when I do it was so I was never if even if I was deadlifting it was never a lot of weight. I was always like more upper body like bench and back and shoulders, and then I hated squat. And I always like if I ever even did deadlift, it was always like my worst. So that I mean that for me is always cool to see people who like can legit deadlift. It's like fuck. I definitely could not do that. Like even if I was in shape and actively lifting right now, there's no fucking way. Like it wouldn't happen.
it's I don't know. I personally like how it feels. I don't want to jinx myself because I haven't injured myself yet. That's probably the only reason why I like it because I don't have back problems.
Yeah. No, that's
Knock
awesome.
on
I mean,
wood.
but flexibility is a big part of deadlifting too, right? Just being able to get down in that position and still like have proper posture and all the way from the bottom and back up and
It is a lot of core bracing, a lot of
yeah,
being able to like keep your core really stable and really strong. My problem is that I like to hold my breath the entire time just to maintain that core tension.
right.
I haven't passed out yet, but I've gotten close a couple times in competition.
Not going to be like Eddie Hall and just like start bleeding out your
Oh my
nose while you're
gosh.
deadlifting.
One day it might. Maybe. I might I might cry if that happens.
And to be fair, that was the 1,000 kilo deadlift that he did, I think.
It was insane. I think
Freddie
it was
Walsh.
like
He's a
a
freak.
thousand pounds or something like that.
Uh
900.
was it? I think it was more than I think that was maybe I'm making it up and it's just a stupid number, but I feel like it was a thousand. Was it? It was either 1,000 pounds or 1,000 kilos. But as I say 1,000 kilos, that sounds like a completely ridiculous number.
I think it was 1,000, maybe like 1,010 pounds, something like that.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up
I
at the
may be
same
wrong
time
too.
right now. Deadlift record, Eddie Hall. It was 500 kilos. That's what it was. So it was a little over 1,100
Okay.
pounds, which is just
Oh my gosh.
just stupid.
That is insane. That is insane.
But I know I've seen that video of him so many times of him like shaking and he's bleeding out of his nose, he's bleeding and it's like out of his ears.
Oh my
It's just,
gosh.
it just looks awful. But I mean, more power to him. That's nuts. So all right, so one of the other things again within the whole powerlifting realm
Mhm.
to kind of tie it back into the mix of stuff that you have on your page. So if we're talking about whether it's D&D or Skyrim or BG3,
Yeah.
what lift would be most applicable for an adventure?
That would probably be a solid. I'm trying to decide between bench and deadlift.
Which
I'm
well, you
gonna
got
have
you,
to say bench, honestly,
yeah.
because it's the pressing motion. Because a lot of times in Baldur's Gate, I use the shove motion to get really
Okay.
big enemies off my ass.
Okay. No, that's I mean that's a good explanation for it. Yeah, because the shove, and when we play D&D, we don't use that enough. But in Baldur's Gate, the shove action is, especially as a bonus action, is kind
I
of
use it so
overpowered.
much. I use it
Yeah.
so much because I'm scared of every enemy I come across.
So how many times have you played through Baldur's Gate?
I This is my first playthrough.
Oh, this is your first playthrough.
Mhm.
I've been watching some of your reels and I wasn't 100% sure because I know you're like as you're going through it, you're like figuring shit out, and
Yeah.
it's hard to tell sometimes like because some streamers they do replays and they want it to feel fresh for whoever's watching it. So this is your first time playing through it at all.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So what are you thinking about it then?
I love it. It reminds me of a game I used to play when I was younger. It's called Dungeon Siege.
I don't know that one.
It's like a really simplified version of it, except it doesn't have like the dice rolls and it's not turn-based battles.
Right.
But I really enjoy it. I enjoy the acting. Like the actors they hired for those roles were phenomenal. It's very immersive. It's The choice to consequence ratio is so interesting and it makes
Yeah.
for such interesting scenarios.
Yeah.
I enjoy it a
It's
lot.
and it's do you know how many hours you've put into it at this point?
Oh my gosh. I need to look, honestly, because
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
You're
I'm
playing it on
afraid to.
you're on PC, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm afraid
Yeah.
to check now because I'm afraid I'm gonna shut out of the stream and do something stupid.
No, that's
I want to say easily over like 50.
and what you're in Act 3 now? Or you're
No, I'm still in
you're
Act
close.
1.
Are you?
Mhm.
You haven't gotten to this you're not in this I thought you were in the Shadowlands. You're still in the Underdark?
I am in the. Is that Act 2? It didn't. Is that Act 2?
Shadowlands is Act 2. Yeah, if you're in the
I
Shadowlands, you're in
didn't
Act
know
2.
that. Okay, I'm in Act 2. Oops.
Yeah.
Whoops. Oopsie.
So so Act 1 is like where you go like the high road through the Githyanki Temple or if you go the Underdark. Once you get through like Grimforge and you get into the Shadowlands, that's Shadowlands is Act 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in Act
A-
2.
And then Act 3 is when you actually get to Baldur's Gate.
I've heard that it takes like over 100 hours to get to Baldur's Gate.
So I mean, it really depends. So I've done like 8 or 9 playthroughs at this point. And the first time I play any game, like I have no patience for like the gameplay. I just want the story. So
Okay, yeah.
my first run through of things, like I'm just going through the story and I want to hammer through and I want to know the story of what's going to happen. So my first playthrough always goes super fast, and
Mhm.
then my second playthrough always goes super slow, because that's when I start exploring all but I mean, you'd have to be a super experienced, meticulous gamer to even scratch the surface of that game in the first
Oh,
playthrough
yeah.
or two. Like I've done 8 or 9, and I'm sure there's. I mean, even Chris, who's in our group, he's like a perfectionist,
Mhm.
and he'll text us every once in a while, like, "Oh, did you guys do this?" And I'm like, nope, I haven't. Like, where the fuck is that? Like, where did you find this? And he's like, bro, you didn't even figure this out? Haven't you done like 8 playthroughs? I'm like, yes, but I'm such like I'm more of a story junkie. So even when I've done it multiple times, I still want to go through each different character and what are the different interactions I can have, more than like, okay, well, here's this item that if you go
Yeah.
down this road, you can find this item. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, that's cool. I'm more interested in the characters themselves, and like you said, all the voice actors in that are they're so, they're so good. I mean, it's
Oh, it's phenomenal.
a, a chunk of why the game is so famous. I know you're doing your own character now. If you were gonna go through and do it again as one of the like the regular like PCs from the story, which one
Mhm.
do you think you'd pick?
Karlach. I love Karlach so much.
Powerlifter makes sense. Like what you
The
were saying
first
before.
dialogue I heard from her, and I was like, "Yeah, we're besties."
Nice. Yeah, when what you said before of like, yeah, I like to lift heavy shit. That's like barbarian mentality, like to the T, like pick
I'm
things up and put
shocked
them down.
that I've never played as a barbarian, like, even in D&D. That shocks me.
So what's your usual go-to then?
I
if you
go
have one.
to always some kind of elf. I am so biased to elves, and I blame that on Lord of the Rings. I blame that on growing up watching Lord of the Rings and Legolas
Yeah.
specifically because that was my first crush in life.
That's
But
funny.
my first PC was a ranger, a high
Nice.
elf ranger, because I used to do a lot of archery and I always loved like the bow and arrow aesthetic. And
Very
then
cool.
I did fighter, I've done monk, all kind of similar. I'm about to join a campaign actually,
Nice.
and I'm going as a wizard, so I'm gonna be really squishy. I'm
Have you?
scared.
So and again, this is I think this is only the fourth campaign I've ever I'm still been involved in, and I've DM'd two of them.
Mhm.
So the only two characters I've played were a halfling ranger, and then in the last campaign for Chris's, I was a high elf sorcerer.
Okay, yeah.
And that got kind of nuts because Chris started us at level 10 and we were at
Oh
level
my
20
gosh.
by the time we finished the campaign. So us being at level 20 and like still being kind of new to this and having all this
Oh my
crazy
gosh.
like and Austin was playing a rogue and with his sneak attack damage and just rolling ridiculous dice and it was very fun. But like I said, my go-to is would usually be a fighter with a shield and a single-handed weapon.
Mhm.
And just because I've done that so much, like I didn't want to do, especially since I had played through Baldur's Gate so many times. I wanted to try D&D with at least something a little different. So I did the Halfling Ranger in like the first campaign that I ever played in, and that was a lot of fun. I actually did enjoy being the ranger, and playing as a halfling was fun as shit too. Because the lucky halfling like trait basically means that you never crit fail.
Oh my
Almost
gosh.
like you have to crit fail twice to actually crit fail, which
Damn.
is just a broken broken mechanic of being a halfling. But me and Matt played as halfling brothers, so it was 2/3, and it's only four of us, so our party is only ever three people.
Mhm.
So 2/3 of the party almost never
Oh
crit
my
failed
gosh.
for the whole campaign that Austin ran before we started streaming and all that kind of stuff. Um,
I've never played as a halfling character.
it's
Well,
fun.
duh. I've never played as anything but an elf, but of some sort or half
Halfling,
elf.
yeah, halfling is fun because it's you're still getting that kind of high fantasy kind of character, but there's a lot of like tricky, like cool little mechanics. Like you can hide behind normal sized people and get like the
Yeah.
stealth bonus. Like that's literally part of their trait is if you're behind someone who's medium or larger, you get advantage on stealth. So me and Matt, both playing halflings, we would just kind of walk in a line behind Chris,
That's fantastic.
who was playing a tiefling.
That's fantastic.
Like between that and like the like I said, the lucky halfling trait where you basically can't crit fail. It was very
I didn't
fun.
know that. Yeah, I didn't know that about halfling.
Yeah, there's some cool little mechanics that make it like it just makes it fun to play.
Oh yeah.
Because like there's like I will say for sorcerer, like there was very cool parts of it, and like you can do crazy amounts of damage once you get up to high level and super powerful spells. I don't know if that's a class that personally I would enjoy playing again, just for my personality. Like I feel like the martial classes would definitely appeal to me a little bit more. But like one of our sponsors is WizardWorks. Dylan from WizardWorks, he's a Long Island guy.
Yeah.
Obviously his thing he likes spellcasters and wizards, and he was
Mhm.
our in-person guest for one of our sessions for Chris's campaign, and we had a lot of fun just kind of not letting him lead the session, but like having a PC in our like little group that really knew how to play a wizard, and he was
Yeah.
almost I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but he was like an assist wizard basically. Like he was didn't do a ton of damage, but he would like buff and debuff and all this cool shit that we were playing. We're like, damn, like that's really cool. Like
Yeah, yeah.
helped a lot in combat without actually doing a lot of damage. And for us, that was only our third ever campaign at that point, where we had mostly played martial characters, but and like Matt played a paladin in our first ever campaign. he didn't really know what he was doing. He was just hitting people with his sword the whole time. Like same thing with Chris. Chris played a cleric. He healed us maybe twice the whole campaign, and like just running through. Just we're all just trying to steamroll everything. I feel like we're just now starting to get more into the okay. What's the how can we do this in a way that like isn't just oh there's a bad guy. I'm gonna fucking steamroll the bad guy. But it's taken us a while to get to get there. Um, okay, so I had a couple other questions now that we're like talking about BG3 and that kind of stuff. So I
Yeah.
know the two games that you stream are BG3 and Zelda.
Yes.
Why Zelda?
I grew up on the Nintendo 64. So the very first N64 I played was my dad's that he bought the year before I was born. So it came out the year before I was born. I was born in 99. So
Okay.
I remember like one of my earliest childhood memories was on Ocarina of Time. I didn't know that games had a purpose or puzzles. I was just this 3-year-old and I would run around the grass and just collect
Yeah,
rupees over and over and not do anything. But it's just it's nostalgic. It's very nostalgic, so it feels very much like a comfort game. Both of
that's
the Nintendo 64 Zeldas are my favorite.
that's very I that description is very cool. It's just like a comfort game. Like even like it has like obviously has a big story. And I've honestly I've never played Zelda myself, but just I obviously I know about it just because of how famous of a game it is, and I know
Yeah.
people that have played it. But that I don't I understand that idea. Like for me, Skyrim would I mean as far as an RPG game, Skyrim would be that game for me. Like
Okay, yeah.
Skyrim came out I don't even remember. I think it was when I was in college, and we would just spend fucking out. Like anytime we weren't in class or at football practice, we would just sit and either play like Madden or play Skyrim. But
I
that's
played Elder Scrolls Online for a while.
I actually never played Elder Scrolls Online because I
It's
heard
all
kind of up
right.
and down reviews for it. So
It's all right.
have you never played Skyrim?
I haven't, shockingly. So I
Oh,
assume I need to.
you need to.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you have to play Skyrim. After you get through Baldur's Gate, I would say before you start a second Baldur's Gate run, you gotta play Skyrim.
Okay.
It's
Because I was looking for another game to play. I was saving it for this there was so much hype around this new open map Lord of the Rings game that was
okay.
supposed to come out next year, and then they canceled it. Amazon canceled it. So now I gotta
The
look for another game to play, so it might as well be Skyrim.
oh, forget it. Skyrim is awesome. Like, and it's every time I've tried to go back and do a new Skyrim playthrough, is that like Skyrim I've poured and like endless hours into. I always like try to think of a different, and it's set up very similar to D&D. Like you create a class, you create a character, and
Yeah.
like you put points into different kind of like any, you know. But Skyrim is like it's the fucking best. But every time I do it, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna make an elf, I'm gonna make a mage this time, and it's like I always end up making a human, heavy armor, sword and shield, and I just run around, just fucking. But
Is
it's
it on a PC or
I think it's only a PS5.
okay? I don't have a PS5.
So I'm the opposite. I've never been a PC gamer other than like The Sims when I was a kid. I've always played
Oh, I
Xbox
love The
365.
Sims. I love The Sims.
Ugh, that's funny. I was actually just thinking about like downloading it again for the first time in years. Kind of like so that to me would be like a comfort game.
Oh,
Like to just
absolutely.
build a fucking house for my guy, get him a job, and just like like have a little character that deals with all the stress of life that like I don't have to fucking think about. Um, but that's funny.
Which
But
one is your
that's
favorite Sims? The Sims like the regular, like
I
just the
think
original 2, 3, 4.
I think 4 is the one that I've played the most.
Okay, yeah.
I think. Honestly, it's been so long since I've played it. Because I know I downloaded it. I want to say somewhat recently, but somewhat recently for me might be like 5 or 6 years ago. But that was I think the last time I played, and I think the newest one at that point was 4. And then
Okay, yeah.
before that, had played the original one when I was a kid. But definitely, if you don't have a PlayStation, then Skyrim. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Skyrim is just a. You know what? I'm gonna look that up for you real quick.
Okay.
Skyrim is awesome.
I might have to invest in a PS5 because I needed to anyway. I've been told I need to anyway.
Oh no, I'm full of shit. I'm a liar. Skyrim is Xbox or PC. So
Okay, cool.
everything I just said is not true at all. So apparently
Fantastic.
it is on PC. But again, this is me just with PlayStation blinders. So I so yeah, definitely check out Skyrim. It's awesome, like single player RPG.
Okay,
So
yeah.
so fun. And then one of the other things that I wanted to ask, or there's I'll do two more, and then just spoiler alert. My wife Anna wanted to, because she had seen Kaylee's page too, so she's actually gonna come in and talk to Kaylee about, because she has such a eclectic mix of stuff on her page. But I also wanted to ask you, is there any other TTRPGs other than D&D that you've ever like kind of gotten into?
The only thing that's close enough to it is I've done a lot of like murder mystery stuff, like at
Okay.
parties and stuff, but nothing specifically tabletop. I've wanted to get into like Magic the Gathering, but D&D is the only tabletop I've ever really
Cool.
gotten into.
Have you ever gotten into Magic the Gathering at all?
I've never played it, but I am interested.
Okay. I've never played it either. I've actually played Pokemon competitively before, but
Oh wow, yeah.
Austin from our group has played. I know he's played Magic before. Um,
Okay.
but I really don't know much about it other than it's a similar kind of competitive TCG.
Mhm.
Um, okay. And then the only, I mean, there was other shit, but I think Anna's gonna gonna ask you about now. Okay, so this is a question we ask everybody that we
Yeah.
thought was like such a cool question, and then apparently everybody asks this question on every type of like platform like this. But if you had to pick a D&D class for you, what would it be?
Mm. I really want to say monk.
Okay,
I really do.
just
Just
straight
because
up.
I grew up so much on martial arts. I did a lot of martial arts. I do bow staff now as well, and I really enjoy it.
So
I
yeah,
don't
so
know.
monk 100% would make sense. That's yeah, a disciplined lifter, bow staff, martial. Like you're just describing a like a straight up monk.
Yeah. That's why current my PC on Baldur's Gate 3 is a half elf monk. I literally just did a self insert.
Nice. All right, very cool. Anna, do you want to come talk to Kaylee for a little bit? All right. So my wife Anna, she's not technically part of Crit One and Done, but been, been yeah, she's saying she's not a nerd as she's walking over. She's full of shit. She's played hundreds of hours of Skyrim, by the way.
Oh hell yeah.
Hello. Sorry for
Hello,
my fun
hello.
little like kiwi cup, which is so
Oh,
cute.
I love it. I love it. It reminds me of this little cup I have for my resin. I at one point had a vacuum chamber and I left the resin in the cup in there way too long and it overflowed and I just let it dry like that and I glued googly eyes on it
Oh my
and I
gosh,
just
so
kept
cute.
it.
Yep. I've got my blueberry beer in here, so we're good to go. We're good to go. So, yeah, no, I was like, when Mike told me about interviewing you, he was like, you got to check out her page. It's really cool. She's got like a lot of different stuff going on. So, instantly went on there and was like, "Oh my god, I have so many questions for her." And I was like,
Yay!
can I crash this?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead."
I love it.
So, yeah, so thanks for um, entertaining all of
Of
us
course.
this
Thank
evening.
you.
Um, so I know we chatted a little bit, but Mike had mentioned you're on Central Time. So where exactly are you from? Tell me a little bit about like I don't know, I like to dive deep right away. So
I am from Oklahoma. I was born in OKC, grew up in Piedmont, and then moved to Norman to go to OU for a while, and that's where I am right now is in Norman.
Nice.
Um, I even though I live in Norman and went to OU and worked at OU for a while, I actually didn't end up graduating from OU. I graduated from Southern New Hampshire University online, which is kind
Okay.
of funny.
Nice. Well, it's very popular for their online programs especially, so
Oh yeah.
but yeah. So you haven't really like explored outside of Oklahoma?
I've been a lot outside of
Oh, you
Oklahoma.
have.
I
Okay.
actually lived in Japan for a couple of months back in
What?
2019.
That's so cool.
I taught myself
Right before the
Japanese in high
pandemic.
school. Yes.
Okay. Taught yourself Japanese in high school.
Yes. And then I took a couple semesters of it at OU. I've pretty much all but lost it. It's been 6 years.
It's a
So, and if
hard.
you don't use it, you lose it.
I'll give you a little grace. So, that's awesome though. You've got to do like some Duolingo or like I don't know,
I
Rosetta
used to do
Stone
a
with
lot of
that cat.
Duolingo. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That's so cool. Have I been to Oklahoma City? I don't remember if I have. No, I haven't. I'm just kidding. I've been to Kansas City. That's
Okay.
what I was thinking of. But that's so cool. So I was mentioning before, like I'm so from a very small town as well. So like middle of nowhere,
Yep.
Amish neighbors, cornfields surround my house, like
Yep.
very much not Long Island. We go home and we're like the biggest news is like when the Amish have major accidents and it's like this is tragic. Like this is so tragic. It's sad, but it's so true. It's like what our lives are. And we have like no stoplights in our town. So I relate. I relate. So you
In
got to like
Piedmont, we had one. We had one stoplight, and it was like our claim to fame. It was like grand, our glorious stoplight.
yeah, after I left my town, our town got a subway
Oh my gosh.
and it was a big deal.
Mhm.
It was a very big deal. I went home and I was like, wait, wait, wait. I've had Subway so many times since I left, but like I have to have it in my town just to like see if it's the same. Like it's like this is
It's an
a
anomaly.
yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, I totally get like the small town. I also feel like I mean, it's not true because like Mike's not from a small town, but like I feel like when you're from a small town, you have to find some ways to stay entertained and like
Oh yeah.
that can lead to a lot of like the video gaming and
Mhm.
like I don't know, just keeping your imagination live, which is
Absolutely.
cool. So I don't know, I just feel like that's related. But um I wasn't fully listening to all of Mike's questions, but I don't think he asked you like how did you get into powerlifting and like secondary to that of like did you feel like there was some sort of stigma or stereotype like with women getting really bulky with powerlifting and like how did you kind of like overcome that too if you felt it?
Mhm. I absolutely did because my entrance into the fitness world at all was actually in the midst of I struggled with anorexia for a long time and OCD, and my OCD was still is very number related.
Yeah.
And I just was do as much cardio as I can, get as light as I can type of person. And that's what
Okay.
got me into the gym to begin with. And when I was recovering, I started doing bodybuilding and I was like, okay, I still have control over the scale. It still wasn't very healthy. It
Yeah.
was the wrong type of coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, I discovered powerlifting and I figured out actually, this is really fun. I like how this
Yeah.
makes me feel. And this isn't a sport about how you look or how many calories you eat or anything like that.
What
It's
you're
just,
burning even like
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's just lift heavy shit. Lift as much as you can. And I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. And it was still something I could focus my OCD toward numbers on that wasn't food, that wasn't the
Yeah.
scale. And that's really what propelled a lot of my recovery. I don't count calories anymore.
Yeah,
I don't look at the scale anymore, and I've lost a lot of that obsession that I used to have.
that's great.
But I really enjoy it. I love competing, I love lifting, I love making progress, and I am really happy now with that.
Yeah, that's great. I actually had a different, it was a question for later, but like
Mhm.
kind of related. So, one of the things I noticed with your videos, like you seem very mechanical, like almost perfect. I literally wrote this down. I said you seem very mechanical and almost a perfectionist with your form, with lifting. Like, do you feel like that is a little bit with your OCD as well? Like, or is it just like you're trying to prevent injury? And like I wrote down, how do you feel like that transfers to other areas of your life? Like, do you feel like that relates, but it almost feels like that kind of translated back to powerlifting too.
It's
I'm not
a little bit
It's
of
not a
both.
diss. This is a good
Oh,
thing.
no,
You
no, no,
have good form, by the
thank you. No, I didn't take it
way.
as a diss at all. It's a little bit of both. I do wanna prevent injury because that's a
Mhm.
really big thing in powerlifting
Yeah.
is especially lower back. I've
Yeah.
knock on wood, I've never been injured, and I would like to say that
Keep it
way.
that way. Yeah.
But in competition, actually, there are a lot of very strict rules regarding form. Like,
Oh, okay.
you have to follow lifting cues. You have to have, like, your feet have to be a certain way, your heels have to be a certain way. You like when you're benching, you have to have your butt and your shoulders on the bench the entire time. So if like you lift your butt up when you're doing the press, you
Yep.
get red lighted.
Yep.
So you have to follow very meticulous rules in that regard. And also having good form just helps maximize your lifts as well.
Yeah.
So when you're
Yeah.
using leg drive, when you bench, if you don't do that the right way, you're going to mess up your bench press. Or if you pull the wrong way, like sometimes I still do when I deadlift, I pull a lot with my upper back instead of pressing into the ground with my legs and using that leg drive. So it doesn't optimize my deadlift as it could.
Mhm.
So a lot of that is just like maximizing the load I can push or pull. And then, yeah, it does kind of have to do with my OCD because it becomes a repetitive action, it becomes a
Mhm.
habit. And then once you develop that habit, it just becomes kind of second nature.
Yeah. But it's also like that healthy form of it, right? Like you've kind of like it sounds like you've transferred that maybe into the unhealthy mindset into creating something powerful and like almost meaningful for you in your life. And I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I know in one way or another I will always have OCD. It's
Yeah.
just what can I apply that OCD to that's not going to
Yeah.
harm my well-being, my mental health, my physical
Yeah.
health.
And like what can you control, but like you said, in that way that's like not going to harm anything, right? Like
Yeah.
we can control so much and then letting go of like the things we might not be able to control. I know that's way easier said than done for someone who has OCD, and I don't mean like, I'm assuming we're not just talking about like you really like a tidy house and like if it's not tidy you get stressed out. That's
Yeah.
not like it might be one form of OCD, but I mean there are some, you know, that is that's more of in my mind like a quirk.
Yeah.
Not a quirk, but like an irritation. Not necessarily like obsessive compulsive. So,
Oh, yeah.
um, yeah, I
OCD is
feel like
very misconstrued a lot. A lot of people think OCD is my pencils aren't in color. Oh, sorry. My
that's
alarm's
okay.
going off.
That's okay.
Like, a lot of people think OCD means, oh, my colored pencils aren't in order. And I'm like, no, it's
Yeah,
OCD is more like every time I turn off the shower, I have to kick my foot under the running faucet 3 times as it's draining, or else I have to turn the shower on and start the cycle over, or I'm going to go
oh,
insane.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I fortunately like do not have to, but I know people who do suffer from OCD and like very severely as well, and it is can be debilitating, can be
Oh,
very
yeah.
debilitating. So, do you find that you have like trends when you're powerlifting like do you have things where you have to do something a certain number of times with powerlifting that you're like, I have to do that or it's going to drive me insane?
So I used to be a lot worse about this than I am now. So
Yeah.
I have to follow a very strict program. And I increase the weight every week for 4 weeks. And then when it gets really heavy to where I'm about to do a personal record or a PR, there's a chance I'm gonna fail that PR. And if you fail, you're not supposed to try it again and again because it's just not good for you.
Yeah.
But if I fail a PR, my brain's gonna tell me, do it again. Do it again until you pull that 315 pounds. You failed that 315. You can do it again. Okay, and again and again and again instead of just, okay, I didn't get it today. I'll get it 4 weeks from now or
Yeah.
whenever.
But do you feel like there are like that is how do I want to say this? Like I feel like that is how some elite athletes can like get to where they are, like
Mhm.
because their mind is telling them, no, 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 you can do that. You can do that. Like to a point, to a fault almost, like where they couldn't get injured or, I don't know. It's just, it's interesting.
It
I'm
does actually
curious if like
create,
that is a
yeah,
connection.
it does create discipline. That is one thing, that's one positive aspect about it, I will say, is that it makes anything repetitive into a habit to where you have to do it, and you have to keep doing it, which is great for discipline because especially in sports, you can't rely on motivation. You're not always gonna be motivated. You're not always gonna wanna roll out of bed and go to the gym. You're not always gonna wanna train. But if you're disciplined, your brain's telling you, "I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to do it," and you're gonna do it.
Yeah,
So it does help with, discipline and
yeah.
repetition.
Such a good point to like differentiate between discipline and motivation
Mhm.
because they feel like when I'm in job interviews or when I'm interviewing people, I'm like, how are you self motivated? But like,
Yep.
there's such a big difference between self motivation and discipline.
Mhm.
It's so different. Um, I, to kind of keep on the topic of the gym, but like, do you have one piece of advice for maybe women who are trying to go to the gym and who might be self-conscious about using machines that they don't know how to use
Mhm.
or even how to gauge like how much weight they can safely lift.
I would say my biggest piece of advice, first and foremost, is lift the damn weight. I was a personal trainer for a couple of years, and I had so many women come up to me and say, "I don't wanna get bulky, and lifting heavy weight's gonna make me bulky." That's not how it works. You
Yeah.
have to eat a shit ton to
Yeah.
gain weight, and that is saying that as someone who goes through bulking and cutting cycles. I have to shovel so much food that it is sickening just to gain a minuscule amount of weight, and the weight part lifting alone is not what's going to make you bulky. It's going to make you healthy. It's going to prevent osteoporosis later in life. It's going to make your bones
Especially for
stronger.
women. Yeah.
Absolutely. So don't
Yeah.
be afraid of the weight section. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid of the dumbbells or the barbells. You deserve just as much space as anyone else in the gym.
And what about
And
gauging, yeah, for like gauging how much, because like for someone new, like
yeah.
it's so intimidating. It's so intimidating. I was a college athlete, but like I can't say that I use machines all the time. And going in, I'm like trying to read the directions on some of them and like Googling. And I just feel like very self conscious sometimes of like, I feel silly that I'm taking up this space literally like, but why do I feel I pay my gym membership just like everybody else? I go to Crunch just like you do. Like, why do I feel self-conscious that I'm taking up time and space that like I'm not fully experienced in this particular machine and like I have to like figure out how much I'm lifting. It just feels I know it's like seems should be judgmental free, but like I don't know, in my mind I'm being judged by myself as well. Like it's not just other people judging me.
Oh yeah, that's something everyone goes through. That's something that I go through. And that's just like having to tell yourself that you deserve to be there just as much as anyone else does. And when you're at the gym, do you look around at every single person and see, oh, I wonder if they're reading how to do that machine? How dare they read how to do the machine? How dare they lift weights? How dare they go to a gym for that purpose? I mean, the diagrams are there so you can learn how
Mhm.
to safely use the machines. And you can always ask. I know it's so scary to talk to people at the gym, especially people who look like they know what they're doing because they always have the resting bitch face, or they look serious, or they look like they're concentrating and don't want to be bothered. But I'm telling you, some of the like experienced lifters there, we are more than happy to help you or show you how to do things, or because we all
Because the
started
gym
there
can be
too.
lonely too, right? Like if
Absolutely.
you're not going with a friend or like you don't have a lifting partner, like it's I don't know, it's and everybody's got their headset on, right?
Yeah,
Like everyone's listening to a podcast or listening to music. Like so it's I don't know, it can definitely be intimidating for sure.
absolutely it can. And everyone started in the same place. We all started
Mhm.
in the same place. I remember my first couple of times at the gym, it was like the scariest thing in the world because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't deserve to be at a bench because I can only lift the bar. And there are these guys that can lift 300 pounds on bench. I can't even do the bar. I need to hurry and finish my set because they actually need the
Yeah.
bench.
Yeah.
But they started somewhere too and they use the
Right.
bench then.
Right.
It's just about perceiving your own importance and your own worth and your own value in the gym because at the end of the day we're all there to better ourselves, we're all there to make progress, and we're all there for similar reasons, and we all started from the same place,
Yeah.
so we all deserve to have the same chance to better ourselves
Yeah.
in that environment where it's meant to happen. That's why we pay for a gym membership. We don't pay to all be professional athletes the second we step in the door.
Right. Right. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so can we talk resin?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I yeah, about it's been a little less than a year I got into resin.
Okay.
Um I'm a very avid reader. I read about 100 books a year.
Yes.
Yeah, all different genres. And actually, Austin's wife, Lauren, last year, she was like, you have to start like a little side gig making bookish themed stuff. And I was like, I don't know. I don't have the time. Like, I don't have the time to do this. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Mike is adjusting. He's watching from the couch and he's like adjusting. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. Um, but yeah, Lauren was like, you have like this niche market that like people are gonna love. You could do resin stuff, you could do sweatshirts, t-shirts, like all different
Absolutely,
stuff.
yeah.
So I was like, all right, like yeah, I guess I'll try it. I love crafting. I'm like big on crafting. So I do cross stitch, I've done crochet, all different stuff. So I bought all the stuff, I got really into it, and resin can really it becomes a love-hate relationship, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know.
It
Tell me about your relationship with resin.
I feel the same way. It can be so rewarding and it can be so, so frustrating. Like, I even have my first, like, 12, all of these, basically, up to this past week. I tried everything to avoid the pressure pot because I was so scared that I was gonna blow my house up. So
Yeah,
I tried everything to avoid the pressure pot. I tried like ordering this, it's almost like alcohol paint thinner to put in the resin when you mix it that's supposed to get rid of air bubbles. And I've tried the
didn't work.
heat gun, I've tried the
Didn't work.
vacuum train or chamber. The heat gun worked a little bit,
Yeah,
but there were still like the numbers were getting messed up. Like on this one, like, you can't even see the numbers because there are so many little air bubbles in it that it
yeah,
just warps the numbers,
yeah.
and that was so frustrating because I had people asking me for dice and stuff, like my friends, and I was like, "Sure, but I don't wanna give you this
Well,
shitty product."
right, and that's so it's so funny because like Mike is like, "Oh, just try to make dice. I'll buy the mold for you. Like, just try to make it." I was like, "All right, like I can't promise anything.
It's like the
I
mold
think
is the least of the problems.
yeah, and I was like, the first set, I think it was my first set, came out like almost perfect. Like
Mhm.
it was as close to perfect, and I'm like, it must be because the mold is so new. Because after that, it was not so perfect. I have tried so many different things. I use a massage gun underneath my table, and I try to like have you used a vibration table for
I
yours?
haven't. Like, to kind
Okay.
of get the air bubbles to the
Yes,
top.
it's
Yeah.
supposed to like get the bubbles to the top. So I've tried that. I've tried heat gun. I've used the heat gun too much and then it creates even bigger bubble. Like
Oh,
I've been through
yes.
it all. Luckily for the most part, like my resin stuff is bookmarks. Like I do
Mhm.
probably like 90% of my resin is bookmarks. And so I don't need a pressure pot for that. I really don't need anything because like there's not really any bubbles because it's such a thin layer.
Yeah.
Um,
And
but
not a lot
yeah,
of, like, edges like a D20 dice. That's what kills me is
no.
the numbers get messed up and then
Yep.
the edges because 'cause they're so tiny.
Yep. I bought a dice mold
Mhm.
for D&D dice and I was so annoyed. I think I bought 2 or 3 of them. The mold came defected twice. I was like, this is a jip. That number is the wrong, like it came with 2 16s or something like that
I would be
on one of
so
the dice.
mad.
And I was like, this is a waste. I'm not even gonna try a third time. Like I can't. But they looked so cool. They came out so cool. But bullet dice. Is that what I didn't say that?
Oh, yeah. The
Yeah, yeah,
little
yeah.
bullet. I've seen the
Yes.
molds for those.
Yeah, I bought them on Amazon twice and I was like, yeah, you're getting a 0-star review from me. I can't. Never again.
I bought
Um,
one mold that I never ended up using. It was so nice. It was, like, reinforced, and it had, like, a good sealing lid, and then I looked in it, and every single dice had a different font for the numbers, and I was like,
interesting.
"What?"
Interesting. I guess it could be a style, maybe
It was
to one.
odd, and I was like, "They're not even they don't even go together." It clashes so much. It's like I used a different
Yeah.
mold for every single dice.
That's so interesting. It's
And I was
so
like, "No,
interesting.
thanks." I love the mold. I love the reinforced mold. I wish they had that and, like, just and also the dice, some of them were super small, even though it said standard.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Why is it so small?"
Yeah.
Because I put
So
inserts in some of my dice.
I haven't even gotten like that. I don't even know. I've done um like confetti stuff.
Okay,
I
yeah.
do a lot of like dye. I don't even know. It's been so long since I've even touched resin because we've just been so crazy busy. But like it's what have I used? Mica. I use a
Yeah,
lot of mica.
I
I
love mica.
Me too. It's
I
like
love
so
it.
beautiful. It's so sparkly. It's
It's so
great.
shimmery.
Yeah, I love it. Um, and so I made a dice, which was really fun. So I bought
Okay,
like
yeah.
little tiny dice to put inside of the dice, so that was cute.
Oh!
Um, and Matt really liked those. Does he use those? Oh, they didn't come out good. Well, I suck, so it's fine. But yeah, so I was like I had all these cool ideas and then like I don't know, I'm like, should I cave, just get a pressure pot? I don't know, maybe I'll ask for one for Christmas or
It
something.
changed my life. I think it's like California something is the brand,
Okay.
and it changed my life. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Because it presses the air bubbles that are in
Yeah.
there so small that they're microscopic,
You
and
can't
it's
even see
so
them.
easy to yeah, it's so easy to use, and I was like, "Why didn't I just start with this?
Yeah.
This has saved so much time and effort on my part."
Yeah. Do you take like safety precautions with your resin? Like, do you wear a mask?
No.
Okay, me neither. Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page because it's so funny. I have so many people that are like, it's so toxic. I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
deal with that another
toxic.
day. It's fine.
I think the air I breathe is more toxic, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah. It's
No,
so
I
funny,
don't.
but
I've
yeah,
gotten
same.
resin on my hands so many
Oh,
times
same.
because I get lazy when I clean it, like the
Same.
cups and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, it's on my wrist."
Well, it
Just
just gets so messy. I mean,
yes.
it's crazy. We had at our apartment we were living at, I had made a bunch of bookmarks one night and I'd like set them out. I have one that has like I think it's 5 bookmark molds in one mold. So
Mhm.
it's just like a tray basically. And I made them. They were like the coolest colors. It was like pinkish red. I was so excited
Ooh.
about them. They came out really cool. And I wake up the next morning and one of our twins had taken the mold he told me he was checking to see if it was dry
Oh my
and he
gosh!
brought it downstairs in the basement. There was resin all over the basement, like tile floor,
No.
and we
No.
couldn't get it out. Like I tried my best, and I was like, I ended up going to work, and I somehow had resin inside of my coat pockets after that.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh!
this is impossible to get out. Like you just have to live with it. Once you've touched resin, you're like, This is my life now.
It's a
I
part of me
just,
now.
yeah, I am part resin. So
Yeah. I've learned to line everything in my life with
yes.
silicone.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. I recommend we use like I'll use wax paper a
Okay,
lot
yeah.
or even saran wrap. Like I put that
Okay.
down on everything and before I even start, I'm like that's going on my table, that's going on. Yeah, it's it's a lifesaver for my surfaces, I should say, not for my clothes. My clothes are typically
Wrap
ruined.
yourself in
So,
saran wrap.
yeah. Yeah.
I even line my pressure pot with just like a little like a silicone mat, just a small one, and I just put it inside of the pressure pot because I don't want to peel resin off. I mean, it's not going to
Yeah.
come off if it gets on that metal.
No. No. No, it's definitely not. So, yeah, that's I have a love-hate relationship. There are some days where I'm like I tried really hard or even just the mixing. I'm like, okay, clearly wasn't 50-50 there and my resin is not drying.
Have you ever gotten I get in a really bad hurry sometimes, and even after the 24-hour mark, I'm like, "Okay, it should be fine to demold," and then you start trying to demold it, and it's, like, squishy, but you keep going anyway because you're too
Anxious? Yeah.
impatient. Uh-huh.
I'm way
And
too
then you
impatient.
ruin it.
It's so funny because the dice that I've made for Mike, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay, I'm gonna check on it. We're just gonna check on it.
Right! Me,
And
I
he's
do
like,
that!
yeah, he's like, but you told me it takes like 48 hours. I was like, but it's been like 12, so we're good. We're good. We're good.
And just checking on it, peeling off the lid is enough to ruin it, and I'm like, "Oh, it's not ready. Guess it's time to demold it
I
anyway. It's
I
fine."
am so impatient. It's crazy.
I am too.
I also so I for my bookmarks I dry like I use silica to dry my flowers that I use in my bookmarks.
Mhm.
So like I've used some flowers in bookmarks and they haven't been fully dried, but I've been too impatient to wait and then they mold inside the resin. So
No!
it's like it's just a waste. It's a total waste.
I buy modeling clay and I make the little inserts, the figurines that I put in my
Oh,
dies.
cute.
I oh my god, it takes so much
I'm
patience.
sure.
I fill a little under half the mold, let it completely dry overnight, and then I'll use like epoxy jewelry glue and glue
Mhm.
the little figurines into the center and then let that dry and then pour the second half in so it's in the center. I didn't let the glue dry long enough the first time, and I'd spent hours making these figurines. I pour the second half of the mold in, and all of the figurines start floating to the top and float out of the mold. I wanted to cry, and I was like, "I can't do
Oh.
anything about it now because I already poured the resin." So that's great.
Yeah. It's a bitch.
It is.
She's a real bitch.
It
Resin's
is,
a bitch.
especially, like, when you don't wanna have patience.
No, I have zero.
I don't
Zero of
have
that.
any. I get too excited, I'm like, "I wanna see the result right now.
Yes, and I'm
I
like,
worked
it's
so hard on
covered,
this."
especially for dice. You're like, I need to see it. I need to see it
Right!
out.
I'm like, "This cover
And
idea was so
yeah,
cool, I wanna see it right now."
yeah, yeah. Oh, I gotta get back into it. Gotta get back into
It's
it.
It's rewarding when you ignore all the pain in the ass parts.
Yeah. But it's been cool because, like, even though my, like, genre of stuff is all book related, like,
Mhm,
I Mike has told me, he's like, "Okay, this set of dice is like pretty decent. Like, just put it on your table." Like at I go to like craft fairs and stuff, and he's like, "Just put it on your table, like see what happens." And honestly, it sparks more conversation than a lot of the other stuff on my table. They're like, either people have zero idea what these dice are, and
mhm.
what they're for, or they're like, "Oh my god, you have D&D dice? Like this is so cool." Like they're so intrigued. And I've had people buy it and I don't even have a price. I'm like, "Just pay me what's fair." Like it's just fun for me to make it. So I don't even have like a set price. I'm like, "Just if you want to pay me $5, like I don't care."
They just
I
look
don't care.
pretty anyway.
They
Like,
look
even if you
pretty.
don't know, it just looks
And it's
pretty.
like it's not like it takes me an insane amount of time or the product to make it. So it's like I'm so okay with like people just enjoying the craft of it, you know? Like that's what I
Do
care
you,
more about.
paint the numbers?
I typically do. Yeah. And then I have like a like sealant spray that I've used, but that same thing. I'm impatient, so I'll spray it and then I won't wait long enough and then it's still super tacky and then it gets like my fingerprints on it and then I can't use it. So, oh,
I
us
never
impatient
knew how
girlies.
to, like, I don't do anything after I paint the numbers. Like, I don't put a coating on it. I tried polyurethane, like, I never knew what to put on it, really,
Like, I
and
think
I
I got mine at like Michael's or something. It was like a resin like spray coat. Um,
do you have to do, like, one side at a time and then let it dry, or do you j
mhm.
I figured, okay.
And that's part of why I don't use it very often. But
I was
like,
about to say.
okay, I'll be honest, I used it once. And it might have been for the set that for the giveaway. Because
That's
I was
why I
like,
like acrylic paint because it dries really fast. I'm like, I can paint the
yes.
numbers, it'll be dry in a couple hours,
And I
and it'll be
love
done.
that like you can use your thumb to like wipe it off if you just like paint the whole thing and then just wipe it with your thumb and it's like still the number is good to go.
That was
But
my biggest frustration before I got the, pressure pot. Like, when I was showing you before, I couldn't even
oh, with
paint
the
the
lip,
numbers
yeah,
because
because
it
you
would
had
just
so
go
many
into all
bubbles.
the air bubbles, and
I've
then
had that too.
it was so frustrating. And
I've
because
had
it
that
just
too.
the dice looks decent until you paint the numbers, and then it just chalks the whole thing when it goes
Yeah,
into all those little air bubbles, and I was like, "Ugh."
yeah. It's a tough compromise, but okay, good to know that your pressure pot was life-changing for
I
you.
love it. I love it.
Because I also I do make some bookends, but
Mhm.
like I've only done a couple and it's tough because they're so thick
Yeah.
and it uses so much resin. So I've only made a handful and th- the like one layer might be perfect, the next layer might not have been like mixed properly, and so I haven't been super successful with it, but that's like the craft of resin. I feel like it's so much trial and error of like
Oh, yeah.
what works, what doesn't, and like even though it's frustrating, it's fun to like come back to, I think.
You know what you should do with, like, bookmarks? You should do a bookmark and then put a chain on it like this with a D20 on the end of it.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like,
Yeah,
the
that would
bookmark part and then a chain and then a
yeah. Oh my
D20,
God, yeah, that's a cute
and then
idea.
make little D&D bookmarks like that. I think
Bookmarks,
that'd be
like
so cute.
fantasy
Mhm.
bookmarks. I love that.
That
Okay,
would be
cool.
so cute.
Because I have a lot of fantasy customers. Like I have a sweatshirt that's like in my fantasy era with like a dragon out of a book and like very like pretty standard. But and then I have like one of my sweatshirts that's like plot twists are my cardio. So, and like I think it's the L on the plot is like a knife with like
Okay,
upside
yeah.
down. So, what's wrong? Why? Oh, we got spammed.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. Okay, we're good now. Um, but yeah, so I forgot what I was saying. Mike interrupted me and I lost my train of
Um,
thought.
the sweatshirts.
Oh yeah, so like I don't know, it's cool because I feel like I've catered to like all different genres, and especially like that's my favorite part about like my book stuff is like
They all go hand in hand. Everything
they
really does.
it does, and I'm like I read everything, and so I'm like my favorite part of doing this isn't even like selling my stuff, which is so crazy because I spent so much time and money on that, but like I truly just genuinely love giving book recommendations to people and having the conversations about books. Like that is what I love. I'm like, I will spend the money on a table to have conversations about books all the
Oh yeah.
time. All the time. So is I guess that's one of my like kind of last questions, although this conversation has been so lovely. Is like have fant not even just fantasy books, but books in general, like paved your way into like your gaming and that side of your life? Like, was that like a lead in, or did you just like become interested in storytelling and that's how you got into D&D and yeah.
So funny enough, like my whole entry to the fantasy world was from my dad when I was really little because he was super into there was a game called Dungeon Siege, which was like an old PC RPG game. It's very similar to a simplified version of Baldur's Gate. Um, he showed me Lord of the Rings when I was really young, and that's how I got into that. And The Legend of Zelda's fantasy RPG, and I got into that when I was really little on the Nintendo 64. So I was just kind of immersed into it by the time I was really little. So it just became really a comfort genre for me, fantasy. And that's always what I've come back to. And I think more or less that's actually what got me into reading
Yeah.
was playing all those fantasy games, and then when I learned how to read, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can watch the movies and read these stories." And when I
Yeah.
read, I can see movies in my head when
Yeah,
I read.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
can actually very vividly picture scenes in my head when I
Yeah.
read.
Do
So
you find
I
it disappointing, or I mean maybe not like disappointing or validating when you've read a book and then seen the movie, where like you have a specific vision in your head of what you've read and then the adaptation might not be like exactly what your adaptation in your mind was?
more often than not, I'm disappointed when I see a movie after reading the book because A, they miss like I wish they would have put this scene in the movie and they missed that and I feel like it would have given really good background information or just would have been a really interesting thing to visualize on the screen or they changed the storyline so much. For instance, I'm going to harp on The Hobbit for a minute because I've read the books and I understand that during the time that the Hobbit movies were released, the love triangle movies were really popular, like Twilight and Hunger Games and
Mhm.
Divergent and all the like dystopian society movies. So they had to kind of appease to that audience. So they threw the love triangle with Legolas, Tariel, and Kiwi into that movie, but Tariel didn't exist in the book. Legolas wasn't even part of that book.
Yeah.
I just, as someone who read the book and had high expectations of the book turning into the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't want to see the. I get why they put it in, but I
Yeah.
didn't really care for it.
Yeah. I also feel like I hear a lot like with Game of Thrones, very similar where it's like okay, but they ended it and like but the other books haven't the end of it hasn't even been written, right? Like
Mhm.
oh, Mike just said The Witcher is the worst.
Oh no, I've heard really. I haven't seen it, but I
Well,
know
Henry
there's a lot
Cavill
of
is great.
controversy. I've heard the
Yeah.
controversy on that, and then them switching for Liam Hemsworth. I've
Yeah.
seen all that controversy.
Yeah, well, we watched the first season, but I don't think I watched after that. You did, Mike did, and he said the second season was I'll let him talk about that, but like yeah, I mean there's so much controversy over it, but Mike still to this day he's like you have to read The Witcher. And I feel like when a book is forced on me, I'm like I'm really not gonna read it. But I did read. Did I read the first one? Maybe half of the first one. I don't know. It was a time where I wasn't really into fantasy. Now I think I'm way more open to fantasy books than I was before. Typically I was just like, let me just fly through like thrillers that I can read in a
Yeah.
day, and that was my genre. Now I read like everything, historical fiction to, autobiographies to fantasy, and like I don't know, I just love reading. I love reading.
It really is hard though to break away from like what you started with, like your comfort genre in anything, whether it's like video games, movies, books. It's so hard to break away from what you're so comfortable and familiar with. And it's like, I've only ever read fantasy and that's all I'm interested
Yeah.
in because that's all I've ever known.
Yeah.
It really is hard to break away.
And I'm a part of there's a gin distillery on Long Island that hosts the book club, and they do like they host it. They let the participants vote on the book. You get like four options every month, and like whoever gets whatever book gets the most votes is the one we're reading, right? Like,
Mhm.
so it's cool because that has really opened up like a lot of different genres that I typically would not read. So I really love that about that book club too, because I'm like, wow, I never would have picked this book
Yeah.
out of the library or off of a shelf. I never would pay for this, but like really enjoy all of the genres. But Mike is hovering now. He wants to get back. So he's kicking me off.
Oh no.
So I'll let him get back in. But this was a pleasure. Thank you for letting me
Absolutely.
crash talking crit.
No, thank
Um
you. I enjoyed
and
it.
yeah, this was great. It was so nice to meet you.
It was great meeting you
Um
too.
yeah, I'll hand the headset back to Mike now. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
listeners.
All right. All right. Back with Kaylee. Oh, what did you do over here, Anna? Okay. All right. So I heard you guys were talking about The Witcher. Real quick. So also, if you haven't played The Witcher games, The Witcher 3 is incredible. Like
I've heard good things about it too.
that's another one where it's very different than Skyrim, because Skyrim is very much like you create, customize your character whichever way you want. When you're playing The Witcher, like it is in an RPG, there you can customize Geralt, and there's different ways, but Geralt is, he is his own character. He's based
It's like
on
Zelda where you play as Link, but you
right.
can yeah.
And but I kind of like I was listening to what you were saying. That was for me where it's like my comfort genre. Anything was video games. That was what started, got me into fantasy. Like I played Rayman when I was 5 years old, like on a
Okay.
PlayStation. I don't know if you know that
I've
one,
never heard of
but
it.
but that it's like a side scroller, kind of. I mean, I guess you can consider it like an RPG, but it's where no, maybe not an RPG because really you're playing a character, but I like that game was so awesome, and a buddy of mine who had recommended it to me, like I got done playing it, and I was like, dude, this game it was so cool, huge open world, awesome missions, like just really cool story, different characters that you could interact with. And when I was done with it, he was like, yeah, dude. I was like, and they kind of left it in a way where it was like you weren't really sure if they were gonna make another one or not the way that it ended.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Yeah, well, you should read the books because then you just get more." And I was like, "I don't really." And I was an English literature major in college,
Uh-huh.
and I really don't read a ton unless it's something that I really want to read. And the
Yeah.
Witcher books were after playing The Witcher, I was like, "Fuck, I need more of this." And the books were so good,
Oh man.
and then the show was so bad. Well,
Oh.
it's like the first season. To be fair, the first season was good, and mostly because Henry Cavill was like to a fucking T. Geralt from Rivia, like perfect spot fucking on. Which kind of like what you were saying before, like you read the book, you get this picture in your head. Henry Cavill was like he was the picture of Geralt. His mannerisms, the way he spoke, the way he interacted with his horse, like everything, and it was like this is so fucking cool. And then the second season, it was like okay, they're getting away from the source material. It's kind of still close. Henry Cavill is still Geralt, so it's like okay. And then the third season, they went just like here's the Witcher. We're gonna fuck that
Lost the
and
plot.
yeah, we're just gonna kill characters that survive the whole book series and like have other
Ew.
characters do shit that they would never do, and it was just like
Ew.
it was fucking awful. And then of course Cavill left, and this season was Liam Hemsworth, and I have no interest in watching it.
I kind of felt that way about The Last of Us, the game, versus the show. I kind of like the first season wasn't terrible, but the second season was really poor writing, I feel like.
I didn't even watch the second season because like the so
Mm.
the so the Last of Us, that's another one that's like that's at least for me the first game, the first Last of Us was incredible, was
Oh, it's
such
phenomenal.
awesome ride, and like that game I really loved too because that was one of the games where me and Matt like actually sat down and we played through that whole game together, like took turns doing missions and shit, like so fun. The first season was pretty good. The second game, it felt more like they turned Ellie into like a Navy SEAL. Where it
Yeah,
was like the first game, yeah, they like they were a little overpowered, but it's a video game, so like there is that little bit of suspension of reality. But it was like the second game, it was right from the jump. It was like, okay, I just murdered 70 people and 100 zombies. Like Ellie is just a superhero at this point.
and then I feel
And
like they made Joel way too weak. Like the way they killed him off, I was like, do we see what kind of enemies he took on in the first game, and then
right,
he got fucked up by a golf club?
yeah,
Really? Really?
yeah. So it's the second game. I think I got like halfway through it. And then once it got into playing Abby, I was telling Matt when I was playing it, I was like, I just have her die. It's like I she killed Joel. I have no interest in playing this character. I fucking hate her. Why would I want her to be good at anything? So I didn't make it more than like probably 55% of the way through the game because once they started making you play as Abby, I was like, fuck this chick. I hate her. She
It's like
just
Abby's
killed
my op. I don't want to play as her.
right. So I don't know. It was just like me being stubborn, but I couldn't get over that. Like I got through the first half of the game, even though I was like, okay, Ellie's basically a superhero at this point. But
Hmm.
like the gameplay is still awesome. Like the graphics are so good, the mechanics are like it's so smooth.
And again, with the actors, were
They're so fucking good.
something I always thought was so cool about The Last of Us is that so many of the actors are part of Critical Role now.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Ashley Johnson, Laura Bailey. I think that is so cool. Like, I know you.
Yeah.
You were Ellie and you were Abby. I hate Abby, but I love you.
Yeah. No, and that's like in the first episode of The Last of Us the show when Ashley Johnson is like Ellie's mom in that
Yes,
first
I
I was like
lost
pointing
it.
at the screen like, "Oh, that's
Me
Ellie. That's
too.
Ellie."
Me too. I was like, that's the original voice actor of Ellie.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd like that was so cool. And the first season was good. Like it was pretty close. Like they changed a couple things. Like there's no breathing in spores anymore, which like okay, it's a TV show. They don't want the characters wearing gas masks for like
They
half.
did pretty good. It was pretty
Like
decent.
I get that. Like it was close, but and
Yeah.
like I said, I hated the second game. So like okay, I have no interest in seeing the second season because I didn't have any interest in playing the second game. Um, but there's a couple things I want to touch on before we wrap up. We're
Yeah.
running up to like the 90-minute mark. Okay, so I know you said elf everything.
Yes.
Um, why half elf? Because I know that's also like right on the first like line of your profile
Yes.
is half elf powerlifter. So
I
why
just thought
why
it was
half
a
elf?
I just thought it was kind of a funny twist because clearly, I mean, I'm not even half elf in real life, but I don't know. It just kind of was like, it's. I can't call myself a full elf powerlifter, I guess. I mean, I guess I could, but I started playing Baldur's Gate and chose half elf. It just kind of happened, and I was like,
That's
and
what I was.
I think half elf is more likely to have monk or fighter as a class than high elf. I think high elves are more of like ranger or sorcerer.
Right.
They're
No,
more adapt to those classes.
no, that definitely makes sense. Um, I was getting at like, was there something specific about like half elf versus like tiefling or like orc or halfling or any of those other characters? Like, was there something specific about like elf, whether it's in BG3 or whatever, that like have you're drawn more to that? Like the last person that I interviewed on Talking Crit, she was the same way. Mars from Weeping Wick. She's elf everything. I just want to see if there's anything specific that drew you to it.
I blame Lord of the Rings all the way. My childhood crush was Legolas. Beautiful, beautiful elf.
Okay.
And all it that's all she wrote.
That's enough to do it, I guess.
I was
Yeah.
like, I want to be an elf. I want that aura.
Nice. Okay, cool. And then, do you have any questions for me? Or I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically about me. It could be Crit One and Done or whatever.
I did touch on this a little bit, but I think it was before we started filming. Um, so you said in the resolution of Velmont that magic is different. So you don't have as much magic? Something
So,
like that?
so the concept is that it's a lower magic setting. So it's not like high fantasy where people are throwing spells around left and right.
Okay.
So the way that the city operates, because they are underground in this kind of broken, dying planet, there is like a trace amount of magic, and it's used mostly to keep the city operational. So the
Okay.
magic that is there is used mostly for industrial purposes, like controlling their geothermal heat, the water purification, like oxygen circulation, things like that. So basically, what I told our players was, for the most part, like force magic is okay. Like that's part of them controlling the barriers that protect Kavora. So it's like if you want to use force magic, you can use force magic. Fire magic we can use like within reason. Like we're not just gonna be throwing fireballs and crazy shit, but like Matt's character has create bonfire. Like okay, that makes sense. Like if there's trace amounts of magic, like enough that you need to start a fire somewhere. Like a big part of the campaign is survival, so that makes sense. Like, cool with that. Um, Poison, I don't know that we really came to a decision on. And like a lot of it, which to me is fun. I like put figuring out what works, what doesn't, because like it's a homebrew setting, it's a homebrew
Mhm.
planet, it's a homebrew fucking everything right now.
Yeah.
Like we're doing threads for leveling up, which is like, and whenever the character does something that changes the character themselves, changes their development, their persona, like okay, you get a thread for that. Like um, Asphodel in that first session, where he doesn't want to call him his best friend. It's like you're basically your only friend just sacrificed himself to save you, and
For glow cap mushrooms.
your next thought is, hey, is there mushrooms for me to pick in these caverns? I'm like, dude, like that's
Oh my god.
your character, that's part of him. He has low emotional intelligence. Like so for now from it started last session, Asphodel, whenever he's rolling insight or persuasion, when it has to do with emotional intelligence, he's at disadvantage. Like and we did it a couple times the last session where he was I forget it specifically what it was. He was talking to Damon's mother and
Uh-huh.
like trying to persuade her that like they're gonna find Damon and this and that. And he's like, okay, I rolled. He's like, oh, I got an 18. I was like, okay, roll again because you're at this. This is absolutely an emotional intelligence thing.
Yeah.
Like you're not negotiating for gold coins. Like this is a woman whose son supposedly just died, and you're trying to make her feel better. You have no emotional intelligence. You're rolling this like that's threaded into your character.
Could I interest you in some glow cap mushrooms?
Yeah,
Oh wait.
yeah, yes, but that's the whole idea behind it. So we're trying to kind of figure out as we go right now, like how many of these threads level you up. So I told the guys like to start, it's going to be three threads for to get you to level 2, And then 2 to 3, maybe we'll do two, and we're just kind of figuring out as we go. Because I was like, obviously, if we get to level 10 and it's three, we're not gonna have 30 threads with 30 different perks and shit. I was like, no one's gonna keep. I'm not gonna keep track of that. I know you guys are not gonna keep track of that. But stuff like that, like the low magic, like we're kind of always pushing and pulling against it. Like what makes sense, what doesn't. Like, well, I heard you had said something, Anne, about Mage Hand. So
Yes.
Matt's character has Mage Hand. That was because he's a Gith. That was something we had talked about. That it's you're not just gonna cast a spectral hand that go like that's not a thing in this environment.
Yeah.
So what Matt had kind of said, and he actually used Mage Hand in our second session, because when he was talking to Dalman's mother, Asphodel tried to come in, and he was like, "I want to use Mage Hand to slam the door in his face." He's like, instead of Mage Hand, he's like, "Can we say that I have like a little tool that does force magic, like a miner might have?" It's like, okay, sure, that makes you want to use that like as your Mage Hand, like that makes sense. It's cool. I use it. I slam the door in his fucking face, and I was like, okay, like I have. To me, that's like kind of the most fun part is like figuring out creative, different kind of shit that's
Yeah.
maybe not technically D&D or like not the way it's supposed to work or
Unconventional.
yeah. So like
Mhm.
another thing that I told the guys is like anything within reason I'm going to be open to. And they were like, "Okay, well what do you mean?" I was like, "Say you're in combat on a cliff and your movement speed is 30 and you want to say like there's an enemy that's 50 feet away from you and you say, "Well, I want to slide down the cliff and attack him and he's 50 feet away." I was like, so you're saying you want extra movement speed because you're sliding? It's like it's shit like that. Like the last session, Matt wanted to do two actions in a turn because he wanted to use mold earth and he wanted to persuade someone in the same turn. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, if he wanted to use mold earth to trip somebody, so I was like, okay, if the mold earth, like if they fail the check and you trip them, I'll give you another action to go persuade them. Like even though it's your turn, like that kind of makes sense. Like if you trip
Yeah.
somebody and you wanted to go, sure. But just like different, we're still kind of testing the boundaries of that,
Yeah.
where it's like, because that was Austin's first reaction, like, oh, I'm just gonna do two attacks every turn. I'm like, okay, that's not how it's gonna work. I was like,
You
there's
don't have
gotta be
action surge.
like that, and knowing Austin's personality, that was like I could have seen that coming a mile away. His first response was like, well, I'm just gonna do two. Okay, well, I attack with my axe. I just want to attack again. I was like, okay, that's not what I mean. Like, there's got to be some reason behind it. There's got to be some creative like solution that like Matt's example. Like, I want to trip him and then go run over and talk to him instead of like bludgeoning him. Like, I want to stop this combat, so I'm gonna neutralize him and trip him and go. Okay, go ahead, roll. And he happened like the NPC failed like the whatever the save was for Mold Earth. He like
Mhm.
basically I said, okay, the Mold Earth. Basically, you pull the rug out from under him and he falls. And that's like, okay, he ran over and he persuaded him and it worked. And I was like, okay, that was cool. Like that's technically that's not how D&D is supposed to work, but to me it makes sense. To me that was cool. But yeah, the whole low magic thing was that I really like survival games and stuff like that. Like I love 7 Days to Die and the Long Dark and in Into the Deep, I think it's called, whatever. So I wanted there to be, I wanted this campaign to be more grounded and more of a survival aspect and more of a, you can't just run headfirst into every combat and try to steamroll everything like by throwing fireballs and meteor swarms and like you got to be careful. Like
Yeah.
you can't just. And I wanted to drive that point home that first that first session with what happened in the first session. Like I wanted to really drive that home. Like you can't. Like, obviously, it's. I want to do it like a sandbox. I want you to explore, but you have to be careful. You can't just
Your
steamroll into
actions have
everything.
consequences.
Right. I wanted to
Mhm.
fucking drive that home the first session, and
Mhm.
it went the way it went. And we're at the point now at the end of the second session where I kind of told the guys like you got through basically like the tutorial for the campaign now. Like you're popping back up into Kavora. You rescued Dalman. We're gonna start this next session now. Like you're gonna talk to the Praetor, debrief, and the gates are open. Like it's at this point now we're gonna just be wheeling and dealing. Like there's not gonna be a ton of prep on my end now other than just knowing what's going on in this city, which is
Mhm.
part of why I created such a small city. So it would be easy to navigate when they're just gonna kind of explore and wander and make shit
Mhm.
up basically.
Mhm.
But that side of it has been very fun. But that's a long answer to a to a question
No,
of
you're absolutely fine.
what what the I guess the reasoning or the theory behind like the low magic.
I was
That's
also
the idea.
curious if you like, as it being a homebrew campaign,
Mhm.
if you were putting limitations as far as like both PCs and NPCs on species and classes, like if some of those just don't exist whatsoever.
So we've had that conversation as well. So I gave them I tried not to give them too much like source material, but I gave them a whole like planetary background on okay like this is basically the way I was thinking of it is like okay you're all younger adults, you grew up in Kavora. This is what would have been taught to kids growing up in Kavora. So you know about the flora and fauna, you know about the planet itself. Um, I'm sorry. I'm going on and on now. What was the
Oh, you're
beginning
good. If there are limitations on
on
either
the race and
species or
class? Right.
classes.
So species, we tried not to get too crazy. So like most of them there are, but I explained to them like it's mostly humans, half elves, and dwarves. There are some tieflings, like that's part of Asphodel's kind of story, is that as far as he knows, he is the only Asimar. Like he's the only celestial bloodline person in Kavora. Like that was one of something that his parents told him his whole childhood is do not let anyone know this. Like we are the only ones. So like
So
that's
I
kind of
assume like there wouldn't be any like drow or dwergar or gnomes because of like the Underdark setting.
right. So there are gnomes, but not deep gnomes.
Okay, yeah.
So like there's no well like you said there's no Dwagar, there's no Drow, um, there's no Dragonborn. There are Tieflings, but not many. There are Gith, but not many. Um, there are like there's the Rukon, which that's like a homebrew race that I made, which is like the nomadic like surface dwellers that live on the planet, which was actually kind of fun. Like making a race, I had never done that before. But the breakdown is like it's mostly human, half elf, and dwarf. That those are
Okay,
like
yeah.
most of the people. So
And
again,
then do you
more
have like any limitations on like the classes? Like I know it's low magic, so would you not have I know you have a wizard in your campaign, but would you have like warlock or sorcerer or
so we had talked about because and this just might be that like we're all just in general argumentative and competitive people because I lay out these guidelines and immediately they want to push back against them. Um, I forget. I think Austin had talked about possibly doing. He talked about doing like the genie warlock, and I told him no. Like this makes no sense for this world. He's like, there could be genies. I'm like, I'm telling you, there's not. There's no genie. Like this makes no sense. Like you're not doing genie. So I squashed that one. But even like with since they're starting at level one, there's no subclasses, but we've all kind of gone through like once you get to level three, which like the tree you're gonna at least start going through. But we did have conversations about that. Like Austin has talked about multi-classing into paladin at some point, and I gave them an outline where it's like there's not a ton of deities in Kavora, so like everything is homebrewed. So I told them like we're not doing the regular. There's no D&D deities. There's no Tiamat. There's no Bahamut. What's up? My phone? Uh, so, like I had told them, I was like, it's kind of possible. I said, but now you're going into a magic class, so like we got to figure out how that's going to work because it's not just going to be branding smite and like there's no and like radiant. There's no radiant damage. Like you're not.
Mhm.
We're underground. It's low magic. You're
Yeah.
not pulling religious radiant energy and blasting someone with it. Like that's not a thing in this world in this setting. So we definitely talked about that. And I told them, like, I explained the whole concept. Of course, Matt picks wizard and Chris picks druid. Like on a barren planet with almost no water. There's no wood. There's no groves. It's a barren, poisoned desert planet. Yeah, I want to be a druid. Where's the druid council? Like, there's no druid council. There's no druid. You're gonna be the only druid. So we kind of tweaked it so that like him being a druid is more like him being a healer and an herbalist,
Okay, yeah.
more so than like a magical druid who's gonna shapeshift and do all this shit. We're just kind of tweaking as we go, which, like I said, for me that's fun. But we all have our way to look at it, and we all DM differently, which has been kind of fun and interesting to navigate too. Like Chris was very like story heavy. Like Chris wanted to like really have his story fleshed out and all the different actors and characters and like what they were doing in the background and how it was going to work. And Austin, we did his campaign in 10 towns. He wasn't as story driven, but he was very like structured in how where everything kind of sat in place.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm a little bit more on the improv side, although I'm sure they don't feel that way after the first session. But I explained that to them too. Like the first session, I'm gonna kind of like spark the action, set you on the path, and then it's just gonna open up, and we're just gonna be like wheeling and dealing. Like you're on this planet, and you got to figure it out. Um, but it's been fun. I mean, like I said, we're all our. If you could say we had like a shtick or whatever, it's just that we like hanging out and playing D&D, and we're all close. We've all known each other for a while. We're not voice actors. We're not professionals. Like we just like hanging out and you know playing our game for a few hours every other week and just setting time aside to do that.
I actually just now got into like kind of the acting and voice acting world. I have something kind of exciting coming up with that. I can talk a little bit about it, but I'm
Okay.
not allowed to talk too much about it.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be in a fantasy short film
Oh
called
shit,
Into the
that's awesome.
Deep, and I'm playing 3 characters at the same time. So I'm doing both, like, live action acting and voice acting, and it's very intimidating, but it's been a blast so far. We've all worked really hard on it, and we're
That's
actually
awesome.
starting filming in 2 days. So that's been crazy.
So is that something you're going and doing like in person, or is that like
Mhm.
a some? That's fucking awesome. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Once you can,
It's kind of like, just to overview without going too deep into the plot, it is kind of an artistic portrayal of mental health struggles, like what goes on inside the mind when you're having a spiral of either like anxiety or OCD. It's kind of all encompassing to that, and it's transferred into a fantasy battle setting, and it's really cool. So
that's
I'm super
awesome.
excited about that.
Yeah, that sounds really fucking cool. Definitely, you have to keep us posted, like
Of course, yeah.
as you can tell us more about it, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for that. But that's really fucking cool. How did you get like hooked up with that?
So I actually have some connections that go to the same gym that I do. And he was writing this script, and he has a close friend that is a videographer, producer, and they were wanting to make this film anyway. And he's like, hey, when we were writing the script, I thought about you for this part, all these parts. Would you be interested? And I was like, you know what? Hell yeah. I'll do it. It sounds so fun.
That's awesome. And that, I mean, that's really like I don't even remember who it was that said this, but some of the first D&D advice that we got was like just fucking do it.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
whether you think you don't know enough about it or whatever the case is. Like the first session that we did, I've said this a number of times now. But like our first session was literally me, Austin, and Chris. Wasn't even Matt at that point. It was just the three of us sitting at my kitchen table with a piece of loose leaf and like a set of dice between between the three of us, and like just little stick figures that I had drawn out on a piece of like fucking loose leaf paper. So that's really cool that you do were just willing to jump into it because it's like you have to like I don't know. That you're never gonna find cool, fun shit if you're not willing to at least take that first step, and whether you know what you're getting into or not.
It's super exciting because I've always loved, like, creative stuff. I'm a music producer, I've taught myself how to play, like, 5 different instruments, and I just love creative outlets. So
That's
as soon as I
awesome.
got offered this, I was like, I've always kind of low-key been interested in getting into voice acting and acting, so this could be, like, my perfect at least to have something on my resume, to have something experienced, and just the opportunity is really awesome. Fantasy is right up my alley, so
Yeah.
anything like that, if I can do, like, hella cool battle scenes, I get to fight in this, I get to be the villain and the protagonist, it's gonna be so cool.
That's
There's been so
awesome.
much, like, thought and effort and planning put into this, and the script is fantastic, and the costumes are so cool, and it's just exciting, it's really exciting.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That sounds like a
Thank
lot of
you.
fun. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely interested to see how that turns out. But
Thank you.
that's funny that you mentioned that too, because we've so many people we've like bumped into along this like process. They've also had they're like no, I don't want to say nobody, but it seems like almost nobody's only creative like fantasy outlet is D&D. It's like
Oh, yeah.
anyone that's gotten to this point, they have some kind of other outlet, whether it is music or acting or theater or you know whatever. Like
It's
I've
all
I've
so interconnected, all of it.
yeah, like I've played in bands since I was 16. Austin, he doesn't play in bands anymore, but Austin does play the bass. He actually did a little bit of voice acting, I think, for I'd have to ask him again, but I don't. It was like an animated comic book kind of series that
Oh, hell
someone
yeah.
on Long Island that was doing. So like he's dipped his toe in that. Matt isn't an anime freak, so that's like his other outlet. But he's also like he wouldn't be, and he I don't know. I don't want to say that he sings because like he wouldn't be the one to step on stage and do it, but he does enjoy singing too. And like there's so many of the other pages. Like there's another Long Island D&G like live play podcast that they're all like actual actors and like theater people, and that's their whole. I don't want to say shtick because that's like a dumb word to describe it, but that's like their niche for their
Their
podcast
brand, yeah.
is they do theater productions. Like they did Alice in Wonderland campaign. They did or are doing like the West Side Story, and like that's their whole like their niche. So it's
I envy you living so close to so many cool creators like that because I live in Oklahoma and there's D&D is all but non-existent here.
yeah,
I've it's I'm having to find campaigns on what there's like a page on Instagram called Start Playing, and I think Brennan Lee Mulligan's part of it. And you go on their website, and there are really experienced DMs that are hosting games, and you fill in a seat and just join their games.
just yeah. I mean that's still whatever you got to do to like just attach yourself to some kind of outlet like that.
Oh
But
yeah.
but all right, well let me let you go because we're this is probably the longest talking crit I think we've done so far. But
I'm
that
sorry.
no, you're fine. You're fine. It's probably Anna's fault more than anything. But I thank you. Appreciate you hanging out and chatting
Thank
with
you
us,
guys. It was great.
letting Anna barge in and talk about stuff. But this was very cool. And
Absolutely.
anybody still hanging out, Kaylee for her page, I threw her link in the chat. Reps and respawns on Instagram. Powerlifting, D&D, dice, earrings, voice acting apparently now also all kinds of like fun D&D TTRPG
Jack of all
and
trades. I'm kidding.
there there you go. But Kaylee, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
We'll keep interacting with you. Keep us posted on this voice acting gig that you got in the works now, which sounds
Absolutely.
really fucking interesting and cool. We're excited for you.
Oh, I'm so
Um,
excited. I'm so excited. I want to spill the beans. I'm not allowed to, but I just want to like blab everything.
no, hold on to it. Let it keep everybody on the edge of their seat. But all right, appreciate everybody who hung out. If you have any questions, anything, you know where to find us. This was episode 7 of Talking Crit. Catch you later.
Bye.